Hi, I'm Joe Finsternis, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about the top 10 best movies that I reviewed for October 2014. Now, this was kind of a hard list to put together because, as I stated a couple of times throughout the month, my selections were based purely on the movies that I really wanted to see. And overall, I think I made some good decisions for this month. And it was really hard to narrow it down. One huge honorable mention before I get to the list is Save the Green Planet. Now, I didn't have really any huge complaints with the film. It's just that there were 10 movies from this month that I happened to enjoy more. And as is the case with a lot of film reviewers who will do their best of lists at the end of the year, this is based purely on which movies I appreciated the most. So without any further ado, number 10 on my list is Martyrs. Now, I did say that this movie wasn't fun to watch, and I did say that I'm probably not going to watch it again anytime soon. However, that does not make it a bad movie. One person, when I was talking to them about how not fun this movie was, they kind of assumed that I was saying that it was boring, but it's really not. I mean, I was invested all the way through. I could not predict where the plot was going. The acting was excellent. The special effects are top notch. Again, it's just a film that will, push your limits to as far as they can possibly go. And it's quite possibly the most disturbing movie I've ever seen. Number 9 is John Carpenter's They Live. And yes, it is a little low on the list, and I know that some of you may even have some complaints to make about that, but, at least it made the top 10. It was just a really damn entertaining movie that combined elements of science fiction, action, horror, and comedy. It made me laugh, it had me on the edge of my seat, and it even managed to creep me out a few times. It was just a great time. Number 8 would be Blood Glacier. Now, I know that the film does kind of suffer from its low budget. I know that the special effects aren't necessarily top-notch, but I mean, I still appreciate it just for the amount of imagination that went into it. I didn't think that they showed too much of the monsters. I think that they were still scary as shit to look at. You have to admit that you would be freaked out if one of those things came after you. And, despite how outlandish the premise of this movie was, it was the characters that really kept it grounded all the way through. Number 7 is The Perfect Host. David Hyde Pierce plays a psychopath in the movie. It's the type of thing that fans of Frasier would have never expected to see out of him. And it's just hilarious. And to my surprise, the film even got dramatic at some points. And I know that I've stated this already in my review, but it managed to make me feel sorry for a character who I did not care for at all at the beginning of the film. So, great job to the people who made this movie. Number 6 is Night of the Hunter. Again, I know that some of you may believe that this film should be higher up on the list, but once again, I thought that the weakness of the mother's character, Willow, was a pretty big flaw with the movie, despite the fact that it is a classic. However, it does deserve its place as one of the scariest movies of all time. It is genuinely creepy and suspenseful. The characters outside of Willow were very strongly written. It was very ahead of its time, and, the sound of gospel songs has never sounded more menacing than when they were coming from the mouth of Harry Powell. Number 5 is Oculus. Just one of the most purely unique and inventive films that I have watched this month. A very creative storyline with a lot of very creepy images throughout, a lot of very emotionally effective moments as well. And yes, there are a couple of fake-out jump scares at the beginning, but they don't go on for too long. And on top of that, the Nostalgia Critic just recently mentioned this as one of his top 11 modern Halloween classics. I mean, if that's not enough for you to at least give this movie a chance, then shit, I don't know what is. Number 4 is Under the Skin, a movie that managed to keep me riveted throughout while moving at an extremely slow pace. I mean, that right there takes talent. I mean, it genuinely disturbed me. It made me think quite a bit about what was going on in the movie. There was, once again, a lot of symbolism that went over my head. The reason I say once again is because I already said that in my review. So I hate to get a little repetitive, but yeah, there's not much more for me to say about this movie other than that I should probably give it another watch soon just to get a little deeper under the skin. See what I did there? I'm clever. Number 3 is Willow Creek. Yet another concept that really took talent, without throwing any gruesome images at me, without, throwing any crazy, scary visual effects at the screen, and just staying, very simple throughout. This movie managed to scare me much more intensely than any other film has done this month. And, that is a huge credit to the director. Once again, this is somebody who used to be a comedian, but if anyone has a hard time believing that he could be a capable filmmaker, then watch this movie in the dark. Number 2 is Inside. Now, I've compared this movie to Martyrs a lot, and I'm sorry for those of you who are annoyed by that, but whereas Martyrs was very emotionally draining, I personally found Inside to be much more emotionally engaging. The storyline was much snappier, there was much more action going on. It was just a really, tense movie to watch, and I would certainly give it another watch, at least to watch it with some friends and see how they react to it, because I am kind of a sick person, I'm not going to lie to you. And number 1 on the list, those of you who have actually been tuning into my reviews, first of all, thank you very much. Second of all, you probably saw this coming a mile away. Number 1 is the original Stepford Wives. Once again, I still haven't watched the remake yet, but if I don't get around to watching it by next year, then it'll probably most likely be part of next October's lineup. And if it isn't part of the lineup, then that means I've already seen it and reviewed it by then, so go look at my past videos. But yeah, this was yet another movie that, went along at a very slow pace and yet still kept me interested throughout. The characters from outside of Stepford felt very natural and real. The suspense and sort of creep factor really took their time to build up throughout the movie, and it's a great satire. The premise is pretty ridiculous, but it makes for a fairly effective horror movie. If you want to see a horror film of true quality that is sophisticated and intelligently made, then check out The Stepford Wives. So that's it for my list. If you've seen any of the films that I've reviewed for this month, let me know what your favorites were down in the comments. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. I hope y'all have a good one.